experimental songwriting, relief that I wouldn't have to listen to it. Not that I begrudged him the impulse. This morning, after he left, I'd almost immediately taken a photo of myself, wanting to preserve the moment, and entertaining grandiose ideas about this horrible loss marking the start of a very creatively generative time. Maybe I'd take a photo of my face on every significant day for the rest of my life, compiling a gallery's worth in time for a show on my 80th birthday, my big potato head smiling at a PhD ceremony, weeping at my mother's funeral, chewing thoughtfully on the first food my child ever cooked, a few boundary-pushing close-ups during orgasm to generate some buzz, etc. Instead, I took the picture, saw the bags under my eyes, and downloaded Facetune. The dark circles felt right in person. Looking in the mirror, I would see them and think, there is a 28-year-old who has seen some shit. But in the photo, I realized, I wanted to look hot. Having him properly out of the house was a relief. Not because things felt better or calmer without him, but because the 2 weeks between I am going to move out and I have rented a van were some of the longest and slowest of my life. It had been so inconsistent, one day tiptoeing around each other, speaking in the stilted tones of new colleagues on a work retreat, then slipping into old habits and kissing goodbye, eating off each other's plates, fucking. Every time we fell back into some old way of being, so easy, so familiar, I wondered if we were going to write off the whole thing as a few bad months. But one night, he came home with some boxes, and we had to decide whose records were whose and what to do about the piece of crap couch we'd bought barely a year ago. The warranty on history's worst sofa had outlasted our marriage. We swore neither of us had seen it coming. After all, we did not have the major problems that led to this kind of thing. There were some problems, sure. In addition to the eating in bed, I had no indoor voice and did not respect his fridge organization system. He had a temper and wanted us to take up running. But we weren't unhappy, just unsatisfied. Until suddenly, we were so unhappy, and we couldn't laugh, and we couldn't have sex, and we couldn't order Thai food without looking at the other person like, who are you? Staring at the stranger we'd chosen at age 19 and 19 and a half, respectively, not hating them exactly, but wondering if they died without warning, of natural causes, or in some kind of horrible accident. Not that that would be good, of course, it would be a tragedy. But if it did happen, if maybe life would be easier. The words slipped out of my mouth one night at dinner. Is this working? Neither of us had an answer, which seemed an answer itself. It had been working, or appeared to be working, for almost a decade. John and I fell in love at university, his cheerful nihilism a surprising compliment to my chronic overthinking. We'd been friends first, important, everyone says, and even had exciting, slutty freshman years before realizing sometime in the first semester of sophomore year that not only did we get along great, we were also deliriously horny for each other. We attached ourselves at the mouths and genitals and didn't unlatch until graduation. We liked enough of the same things and made each other laugh. And our arguments were only as dramatic as the arguments of all our other 20-something friends. We took modest vacations and met each other's parents. Eventually, we moved in together. We'd been dating the right amount of time, and neither of us could afford to live alone. We painted part of a wall with chalkboard paint. There were poorly judged birthday gifts and petty jealousies and one or two mild betrayals, but mostly there was comfort and an easy understanding. After 6 years of date nights and pet ownership and learning how to make a carbonara, there was simply nothing else to do. John said, "What do you think, Maggie?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And so we got married, because everyone else was, and because nothing being particularly wrong felt, at the time, like everything was right. It had always been slightly surreal to me that we were legally